Good podcast, fuckers. Thank you for listening to another episode of Sloss and Humphreys on the road. We were actually kind of on the road this time, but not in a good way. We did a 13-hour round trip down to Cambridge and back and got 4 hours of sleep. So we laugh a lot during this podcast, but whether it's actually funny is, as always, your judgment. But you know, we laugh. I thought we stood up for step parents, mainly stepmoms. That was nice. That was like a new version of wokeness from us. I know you were bored of all just the standard fucking Tory bashing and tiptoeing around trans issues that we do. So we were like, you know what, balls on the walls. We like stepmoms. I ranted about poetry because it's shite, and jazz because it's also shite. And then, I mean, you know the podcast, and then we spoke shite, and none of this introduction is relevant, but we're still forced to do it because it's because I don't know. Well, apparently it does stuff. People listen to it, and it makes them know what's in the episode, and it's better. It's what? It's an appetizer, apparently. Because I disagree, because I listened to What the Fuck with Mark Maron, and I always skip this bit. I fucking hate this bit of his podcast. I'm like, I don't want to listen to just you talk. Like, that's fucking, ugh. No offense if you're listening to Mark Maron.
Sloss and Humphreys on the road.
Muggins and Cream, Cream and Muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
And that's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head that makes you laugh. They said it can't be done.
Are we in the same seats?
That's hack.
Ah, muggles.
Accidental rib job in the park.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Or am I just being cynical?
Muggled it up on fucking Mugglepedia.
Where have you been since 9/11?
So we pulled off my Cunning plan to go to Cambridge and back in one day.
Are we still calling it Cunning?
It was Cunning, but I didn't realise there was a huge, huge flaw in my Cunning plan.
Which is?
That you had builders in.
Aye.
So we get back at 4 in the morning. It was after 4.
Aye, just after.
Because I remember noticing that you were having a bong at 4:20.
Aye. And that's the only reason why I was up at that time. I was like, look, I gotta do it. Mm-hmm. You gotta respect it. It's 4:20 every day. I'm a real G. Both 4:20s every day. I do both of them. That's how much. I've actually done it.
He does 2:40.
I do 2:40. Yep. That's just after I go to the dentist. I go to the dentist first.
Is that the Geordie dentist?
Aye.
It's 2:30.
Aye. I don't think it has to be Geordie for the joke.
40.
I don't think it has to be Geordie for the joke to work.
Hurts. Because he would say it hurts, which is 30, or it hurts, which is 40.
Oh, right. I see 2:40. I gotcha.
So, not only have you got builders in, but what are your builders doing?
My fucking nothing. No, they're doing our own suite.
So they're doing.
And also, then we're getting we've got other builders in to do our downstairs in the. We're getting a bit of the back garden done.
So not only were they taking the day out on your old bathroom at heavy REM sleep o'clock, but because it's the bathroom, they've turned all the pipes off. And what did you not prepare ahead for? I
wasn't here. There was that takes zero blame for this. It's my useless pregnant fiance's fault. Fat lazy cow forgot to get any water. I mean, I don't drink tea or coffee enough to notice or give a shit. I
found like the smallest amount of water like on the bed of the kettle, you know, where it doesn't boil, it fizzes in the kettle. And I was like, hey, heavily pregnant woman, do you need this vital fluid of life, or can I use the last of your water to make a coffee?
Only reason that water was in there was because Troy, who's already gone, came down this morning with a bottle of water and made himself a cup of tea. And then I went up and offered the builders, I was like, do you want a cuppa? They're like, yeah, we'd love a cuppa. Milk and 2. I go downstairs. I'm like, you know the water's off. Why would you ask for a fucking cuppa if you know? So I had to fucking pull out of Troy's water bottle.
Oh, really?
Just pour it in. Thanks, man. Yeah, great. Took it up and they were just like, aye. I wonder if they were not expecting me to come back up with the thing, or whether they're just so new that
do you think they were just doing a game that the day where just a little subtle prank?
Could you go get us a long stand, one of them?
Aye.
But maybe not have won them over, because tradies always respect me. I don't know if ever.
I feel like I've told a story recently, but I don't know if it was on the podcast, about the boy who was sent to get bubbles for the spirit level, and he came back with them. he came back with bubbles for the spirit level.
Just bubbles.
Huh? We gave him £3 out of petty cash.
Aye.
Sent him to the shop for bubbles for the spirit level. And the guy took his petty cash and cut him 6 squares out of the bubble wrap. Sent him back.
Class. Well done that bloke.
And we were like, how are we going to account for this petty cash? I've literally got to fucking find £3 to put back in the petty cash. I worked half an hour for nothing today.
Fucking absolutely fair play to the bloke that cut the thing. He was just like, all right, boys, I'll join in on your prank. Welcome to the Alleyoop.
The bubble wrap Alleyoop, that's what we're calling the podcast. I'm kind of tired. This is a proper morning podcast because we were like, we'll do the podcast after the antenatal class, which is what, like 1 o'clock?
1:30 until
1:30.
Fucking 3.
But then I heard tiles smashing next to my head.
Aye, it's the antenatal class we've got to say is on painkillers and stuff, but I don't think they're going to be wanting to hear my marijuana stories. I'm pretty sure it's about the women's painkillers and stuff. And it's like my approach to all of the pregnancy is, and I've said this to Karen, I'm like,
making it about myself.
Yeah, I'm going to have opinions around you out loud, and you can take them on board or you don't. It makes no difference. I'm very aware that my vote doesn't matter in the grand scheme. Like, it's your body. I've got opinions, and
it's
that's
unimportant but frequent.
No. But sometimes you want somebody else's opinion. So I'm just like, that's all I'm doing. I'm just saying my opinion out loud, so you know what the word is. But if you decide to go, okay, and it's gone, I don't mind. I'm just going to say the things once and see what happens. But one of the ones that I'm definitely saying with them once, I'm like, just take all of the drugs. Just whatever they offer you, just go, that, and let them do it. Because she's already at the point where she's not one of these women that's like, you know, I feel one with the baby, and it's the journey itself. It's as beautiful as the moment of pushing it out, and I want to feel every strain and every limb that comes out of me.
Does she feel robbed that she's not feeling that? Or does she feel like every woman that says this is a fraud?
That one. The second one. Yeah, she's like, they're all full of shit or they're mentally deranged and it's nothing else. But just if you hate it, you know, if she's hated it as much as she has and it's not been fun, then, I mean, one of the plus sides of it, man, they inject drugs right into your fucking spine.
Is that the epidural?
Right into your fucking spine.
Is that the epidural?
Yeah.
That's the anaesthetic that just numbs you from the waist down.
Yeah, they're just like, it's going to be a fucking nightmare down there, so we're just going to turn the bottom half of you off.
You're just the cop off Family Guy now.
But just for 4 hours. Here's some perspective for you. Like, boom, right in the spine, legs gone, enjoy that. Man, I don't think I've ever...
I'd take an epidural for a shit sometimes. Kind of come out, lads, I'm having a shit this afternoon. And then I kind of play 5-a-side tonight. So I've got a shit planned for 6.
What are you doing tomorrow? I'm going round to Cash to sign his cast. He had a shit yesterday. It was real brutal, real violent. Yeah.
I'm on a cast. Have I got my leg in a splint in this situation?
Didn't say leg.
Put me on.
No, it could be your arse. You can cast any part of the body.
Who shits near a swan?
You can cast any part of the body. You can get a dick cast. I don't think it would do anything.
Just make it a bit better for Natalie.
Just a bit more girth. Because I was also talking to Cara about this. Both of us have never actually been in hospital for medical reasons. Like, I've been in hospital when my mum broke her back, and obviously for the birth of all of her children. Well, no, I guess I was there for my birth. And my dad got some sort of minor surgery at one point, and I had to pick him up when he was drugged up afterwards. And then...
You're 6, you're just in that like kind of red-bodied, yellow-topped car.
just him strapped to the top like a Texan that found some roadkill that I'm just going to barbecue.
You just Fred Flintstone, your sick dad doing the fucking M1. Down the M1. You're taking him from your childhood home in Kingston up to his family home in Thurso in your fucking playgroup car.
we've just never been.
I've been to hospital to get my eye taken out.
Aye. And they still put it back in wrong.
They put it back in, point in the right direction.
Aye.
And I've been in to have me.
Just brought it out, and then
the
shined off the shit.
Aye, we're not going to buy it.
Aye, that's what it's fucked actually. Now you mention it.
Throw it back in. Keep that.
Aye.
We'll take the other one. I need that one. I was awake for the whole thing.
You just before they did it, you were like, "Can I get my eyes numbed?" And he just leaned forward and kissed your eye and went, "Num num num num."
He gave us a reverse epidural to take me eye out. He limped us from the waist up.
Oh, I just thought he put something in your spine that made you feel everything. Just was like, we're gonna double this pain straight up. So what he did, he shoved
a Guantanamo Bay shit. Just so he could get a price on my eye. He told us he'd give us like an old PlayStation game for us, Crash Bandicoot 2, not even 3.
But at the same fucking rate that Game Station trades in games, you go in with like 17 games and they're like £3.50. And you're like, the plastic costs more.
Yeah, I'll get more for recycling, man.
I could upcycle this into some sort of cartons and get more money from it.
I could sell this on fucking Etsy or something.
So did they actually say the eyeball at your head?
Aye, they took they cut the muscle and then took a bit off because it was too much. Right. They were like, "This guy's got too much. He's too hench
in his eye.
He's got too much muscle. This guy." And they snipped the muscle and then stitched it back together, popped my eye back in, and then went, "Hey, gone on your way." And I was like, that feels like I've got sand in my eye all of the time.
And they're like, "Yeah, we did that. Did you not want the sand operation?"
Want the sand.
Fuck, sorry, man. We thought it's like a vajazzle for your eye, but we ran out of glare, so we just rolled it around.
What do you think the S stands for in NHS? Non-hydrated sand.
Not all sand.
I mean, I guess the bed of the ocean.
Oh no, I guess it is.
Pretty hydrated.
Because like I don't think I'm not scared of hospitals, right? In any way.
You've never been on Halloween.
Well, like I can kind of understand like the. Like I imagine
even the one off Silent Hill.
if you have grown up in a hospital because you were ill or a family member's ill, like obviously there's negative connotations. And if you've like a lot of your friends or whatever died when you were like,
you've only got happy memories from flaunting in the hospital, have you?
No, but I don't have no. But yeah, fucking childbirth and like and going in and getting fixed or just minor surgery. I don't have the.
Your sister being put down.
No, she died at home.
That's doing a bit.
Oh, right. Just like she.
You can't put people down, Daniel, even those ones.
I like people. You get some people that are just like, I don't like. I have a friend that does like hospitals because it's just like he's like that's where people die. And I'm like, yeah, only if that's how like limited your imagination is. Like people die everywhere. Like you're not driving down the M1 going like that's just common.
A child in a playgroup car with his dad on the roof. So I had my eyeball took out and put back in. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't take a photo, even though, like at the time, the flip phone, the Vodafone. You remember the original Vodafone flip phones with the camera on? Mm-hmm. And then I remember like feeling like I was in fucking Star Trek or something because I would put my hand in front of the phone and I could see my hand on the screen, and then I moved my hand. And then, like, a second later, my hand moves on the screen. I'm like, whoa! I was like, can you take a video of it on this? And use up, like, all my memory with a 6-second video.
Plug it into this USB. I just need to back it all up. I remember the first time video phones came out. And, I mean, this is already sound old just because time has passed. But that is going to be me telling my kids. I was thinking this the other day, we were watching... I can't remember what Marvel movie we were watching. Oh, yeah, I was rewatching Spider-Man. And I was just like, at one point, I can already feel in my bones, right, within the next 7 years, at one point, I'm going to turn around to my son and be like, the There was a time, I remember the first Marvel movie came out, and we were like, this is great, this is mad. He's going to be like, shut the fuck up. Do you know how many times I've heard this story? And do you know how little I don't give a shit?
Yeah.
I've heard the story of my dad going to see Empire Strikes Back
the Star Wars.
Many times.
And the thought,
it's such
the
a
thought it
reference-
was real, and now you're just like, you can see the man's hand holding the ship.
Aye, yeah.
He's making a gnome noise.
But like he also goes, says that I remember when like because like they always talk about how genuinely big the twist in the movie was. You know, Luke, I am your father. But at the time when that came out, people, first of all, that twist didn't exist. That's only pop culture now. But back then they were like, what the fuck? Mind blown. And at one point I'm going to be like, but just trying to make my son watch it, and then just the bit where Robert Downey Jr. says, I am Iron Man, and it's just me crying. And it's just like, he's like, Dad, it's not. Like,
it's moved on so fucking far, Dad.
There's way more stuff out. That was like 7 Iron Mans ago. Like, they've recast several times.
Surely that was the guy who got cancelled playing him.
No, he got cancelled before Iron Man saved his career.
Has he actually?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp
Jr. Robert Downey Jr. His career was over because he was like a really good young actor, and then was like, oh man, he loved cocaine. God, he loved it. It was one of his favourite things. He almost loved it more than his wife. And then his wife was like, I need you to love me more than cocaine. He was like, oh, that's going to be a real tough shift, love. But you're going to have to let me do you in the bathroom way more.
If you love cocaine more than your wife, right? That means you haven't love your wife enough, or you love cocaine too much.
Yeah.
Because it should be a fucking no-brainer. Like, it should just be like, oh yeah, my wife, duh.
But maybe you got a really dull wife. And maybe the only time you can bear talking to her is on coke.
Aye.
And maybe
anyway, you can get a word in.
But yeah, I think his career was over. I think he pissed so many people off, and then his wife was like, "Don't go and not do coke anymore." And he was like, "All right." And then he got Iron Man, and then made that. I do think that's.
But that's not like that was not him surviving a cancellation. That's him dealing with his struggles.
Well, I think he was like not necessarily, but he was sort of written off. It was like he's that old. It wasn't cancelled.
Charlie Sheen did.
Aye, but like, oh yeah, God, what is Charlie Sheen doing now?
I don't know, probably heroin.
Aye, I mean, I did look. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but there are just sometimes when you see a celebrity going through a rough time, and you're like, I wouldn't mind if you know. I'm not wishing it on you,
but if you were one of 2016's casualties,
yeah,
you'd be the one I'd stop the grief for the least.
Yeah, but if the next time I asked, what's that person up to nowadays, and somebody went, they died, I think I'd go, oh,
of course they did.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And I've got any ill feeling for Charlie Sheen. I don't think
I do.
I didn't watch enough 2.5 Men to hate him, and I love Platoon.
But yeah, I just hated the way I hate anyone that makes that much of a public fool of themselves. Because like, whenever I do something embarrassing, I think about killing myself constantly. So the fact when I see other people being just embarrassing all the time and then not wanting to kill themselves, I'm like, okay, I'll have those feelings for you then. Yeah. Like if that doesn't fucking like remember the fucking World Cup. Right, when Maradona was just coked out of his fucking nut, screaming, was making an absolute disgrace for himself. In that moment,
anything with Conor McGregor in right now.
Yeah. I was just like, well, I don't mind if you die now. Like you've embarrassed yourself so much for me that's my most recent memory of you, and it's not a pleasant one. And I think you're just
you could have had a legacy.
And now you're just somebody who
you could have been in the 27 club, and everyone would idolise you forever as your prime self.
But you stayed ruined. You stayed alive beyond your fucking peak. Like we never got to see Kurt Cobain do Just Eat adverts. Right, right. That's why there's a legacy for him.
Two-pack in selling insurance. Like.
Yeah. And at no point, were they just coming out with Amy White? Well, mind you, I guess Amy White is a bad example because she was one. But I definitely I hated her because of her constant breakdowns. And then all you have to do is watch one documentary, and you're like, all right, fair enough.
Watching the Gaga documentary fucking pulled my heartstrings. That was fucked. What happened to him? Like he had a couple of things, right? One was he had childhood trauma where he was taking his best friend's younger brother to football, and they were shoplifting, and they fucking ran out the shop, and the younger brother ran into the road and got knocked down and died. in his custody.
Aye.
While he was the responsible one making him shoplift as a kid. As a kid, the fucking naughty things that you've done as a kid never get punished that hard.
Aye.
But
So never results in your mate's brother's death. Well, I guess your mate's death.
So he's
very odd if Gaza just does tell the story as my mate's younger brother. I'm like, just say your mate. Just say your mate.
I barely got to know him, let's be honest. I fucking only known him a couple of years. So he had that to live with as he come through. But then what it was that fucking sent him over the edge was it was the birth of phone tapping.
Mm-hmm.
So he would lock himself into a hotel room, right? And so that the fucking journalists couldn't get to him. And he'd like make a phone call to his dad and tell his dad something, and then read it in the paper the next day, and then he'd write his dad off. His dad's a snake, and his dad's selling stories in the paper, and he fucking murdered his relationship with all of his family members for betraying him.
Even though it was just
and it was just that people were listening to his phone, but that wasn't even conceived at the time. That wasn't an option that someone could listen into your phone call. And it drove him fucking mad and drove him away from all his family and all that. And when you think of like having that happen to him and losing everybody and losing all his support structure and all that, like you just can't. Oh fuck! You see that shell of a man when he's fucking hammered, turning up with a fucking bucket of chicken and a fishing rod to Raoul Moat, and you're like, he got made that way.
That wasn't it. Yeah, that wasn't your own doing.
Yeah, you kind of just can't. Well, if that was me, I'd just stop drinking.
And I agree, because I did have sympathy for, obviously, once I did have sympathy for Amy Winehouse in the end. I was like, I do feel.
I haven't seen the documentary about her. I don't really.
Hers is just. I mean, she was just. I fucking hate her music. Right, so I think that was another thing. If I just back to black.
Do you hate Lady Gaga's music? Do you like A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper?
I don't hate it,
right?
But like. Would I watch it again? Yes. Would I go out of my way to watch it? Nah. Like I think Lady Gaga, Amy Winehouse is a good singer, but just it's like, man, jazz musicians are talented. I'll acknowledge that. I don't want to listen to a fucking millisecond of it ever in my life. Same with Amy Winehouse. I just fucking hate that Back to Black song.
Your face when we landed.
Rehab fucked me off.
Your face when we landed in New Orleans airport and they were scatting and doing jazz in the airport when you were waiting for your luggage and you had a hangover.
I would have rather landed in an airport and fucking seen ISIS there. I would have honestly rather seen.
This place is vibing, everyone's getting in the mood, people are buzzing to be landing in New Orleans, and then there's just you, and your fucking face was death.
Fucking jazz, man. I mean, I know I've had this rant several times, but it's just the lowest form of music. Do you do requests? No, just make it up. Oh, I've actually got a favourite song. I bet you do. Shut the fuck up. Just play a song. Play a song someone knows.
Do you think it's the music equivalent of that breed of Noel Fielding generation that watched someone being random and then tried to replicate being random?
Yep, 100%.
It's the ninjas and unicorns and rainbows of the music world.
Yep. And it's just, who gives a fuck? There's obviously talent in it, but why would your talent be... It's like if you were the most talented fucking artist.
You're from the country that invented bagpipes.
Yeah, but I don't... Man, when was the last time you heard me listening to bagpipes?
This morning. Man, you turned it up so that you can drown out the builders. I was trying to sleep.
Man, if you landed in Edinburgh Airport and there was a fucking bagpiper in the hallway, I'd break his fucking neck.
Touché.
I'd be like, aye, none of that.
Nah.
None of that, mate. Stop that immediately. These are guests in our country. Like, you're allowed to walk down fucking Princess Street and hear bagpipes going, because you're like, oh well, that's nice, that's the background music. You don't get to force that shit on people. And also, I've got nostalgia about, like, I like bagpipe music for 10 minutes at a time when you're like, oh, this just reminds me of...
I'll stop and look if there's like flames licking out of it on a street performance.
But no, jazz itself is just... I remember I went on a date with a girl. It was like I think it was like a third or fourth date. Like, so we... banged a couple of times, and it was like that stage where you're like, oh, well, how often are we going to see each other? Is there any future in this? She was like, I'm going to pick the place for our date, and it's my favourite bar, and it's going to be a real testament, because it's sort of left field, and if you don't like it, then there really is no future in our relationship, ha ha ha. And I turn up, and it was the jazz bar, and I turned around, I was like, we're not seeing each other after today.
Is that the one on Chambers Street?
Aye, I'm like, if you want it, look, I'll come in here with you. I'll fucking drink the whiskey, and if you want one last good time bang, let's fucking do it. But if this is the drawing line in the sand moment, I will see you fucking later, because no sex is worth this becoming my regular place.
Wow, were you not like in that place just going, this place is very important to me, this is the first place that me and my best man, my best friend, my tour companion Kai Humphries gig together?
Is that true?
Yes. What, you don't remember? It was before the game of football that we played. Keith Farnan was on as well.
I remember Keith on.
You left before I done my set.
I do vaguely remember that. But it's also where Claire Bear worked. Like, I've got that, I just fucking hate. It's all the worst instruments. It's all the worst. It's all the instruments that everyone who should have had the shit kicked out of them in high school played. Just suddenly allowed to do it in a basement, while a bunch of other nerds who should have had the shit kicked out of them in high school go, yeah, skibidi bop bop. Just sing a song. Just the fucking poetry and music. Ugh, making up poetry that doesn't rhyme. That's what it is. It's the poetry that doesn't rhyme of music.
The music that doesn't scan.
Aye, and I know I've done my poetry rant so many fucking times. And man, people get real defensive. Like, turns out people out there, 3 lines of non-rhyming drivel. People read that and go, they get it tattooed on their bodies, Guy.
Aye. Tell you what as well, haikus can get the fuck.
No, I'm with you. I'm just going to say, at least in haikus, there's some measure of, here's a form you have to stick to, so it requires some type of skill to
the same amount of skill as like making an acronym. It's like it was that game. I nearly said Shenmue, but it definitely wasn't Shenmue. Ghost of Tsushima.
Aye,
there was like a certain
you
like
fucking racist. You fucking, here he is. Okay, he's getting cancelled. All Japanese games look the same. You heard it here first. Oh, fucking hell, alright. What was that game? Soul Calibur? You fucking monster.
Oh no. I Ghost of Tsushima, you had to write haikus. It's one of the like kind of completionist levels of it. What are you looking up there?
I'm looking up the best poems.
The best poem of all time, is that what you Googled?
Yeah, right, here we go. So this is The Wasteland by T.S. Eliot. Isn't he the one that wrote Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe?
Oh, perhaps. Was that not F. Scott Fitzgerald? Or was that Alice in Wonderland?
No, F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote Great Gatsby, that horrific pile of shit. One of the worst. T.S. Eliot. Lion. No, it's that. No,
it's not The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, is it not?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is.
Oh no, C.S. Lewis. No, it's definitely not C.S. Lewis. Close in the sense that it was 2 letters.
Oh, here he is. 2 initial guys, all the same.
No, I get like T.S. Eliot and C.S. Lewis and C.K. Louis. Those are things I get confused all of the time. April is the cruelest month breeding. Lilacs out of the dead land mixing, memory and desire stirring, dull roots with spring rain, winter kept us warm, covering, earth in forgetfulness. Do I just read over? Do you stop at the end of a line? Or do you read it like it's a fucking sentence? You April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out.
Daniel, perform it.
Oh, so April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. Winter kept us warm, covering earth in forgetful snow, feeding a little life with dried tubers.
Say it again.
Summer surprised us coming over the Starnberg Jurgers with a shower of rain. We stopped in the colonnade and went on in sunlight into the Hofgarten. What the fuck is? Am I just? This is just.
What's the Hofgarten?
I don't know. It's just some kind of.
Is that the best poem that's ever been written?
No, it's one of them. Okay, here's another one. E. Cummings, who is the one that wrote Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe.
E. Cummings.
That's it.
J.K. Rowling brought the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Is it E.E. Cummings, your mum's cum sound?
E.E., I'm coming, Kev. that just felt wrong.
I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. I am never without it. Anywhere I go with you, my dear, and whatever is done by only me as you're doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are my world, my true. And you are whatever a moon has always meant, and whatever a sun will always sing to you. Here is the deepest secret nobody knows. Here is the root of the root and the bud of the bud, and the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than the soul can hope or man can hide. And this is the wonder that keeps the stars apart. Fuck! Boring. Fuck who with a fucking straight face, fucking, because you know how people read poetry, right? They don't do it like you do read a book where you're like, I enjoy it. I'll turn the page now and find what happens next. What they do is they fucking sit there and they read it, right? And then what they do is they put the book on their chest and they go,
The wistfully ponder life.
And then they'll get like the little highlighter out and they'll highlight 2 lines and they'll go, yeah.
And they'll take it to that tattooist. Pay 45 quid.
Yeah. Can you get this tattooed on my lower back so some fucking sad man can read it while he rails me with the personality I pretend? I'm sorry, it's not just women that like poetry. Maybe a man got it tattooed on his lower back.
You know what? Do men get poetry tattooed on their back?
Well, I mean, is it that? Because like tramp stamps,
some men will. I think like as a pie chart, it would be a thinner slice of pie.
Well, no, I think the question I was too scared to ask, but I will ask it because I don't know whether it's because I'm getting older and I don't. I'm like, I know what I mean. So if I say
your
something,
bigotry is taking shape.
Well, yeah, so I don't know if it's that or whether it's me being like, you know what, I know what I actually mean. I'm less sensitive to other people's sensitivities. Like if I'm like, I know this is coming from a non-bad place, so even if it sounds ignorant, I know it's coming from an ignorant place as opposed to a malicious place. But I don't know if that's just how fucking old cunts feel all the time. But like, obviously, to us, right, you say there's tramp stamp, and that's because there's a stereotype that there's a type of woman that has like a butterfly tattoo on her lower back. And it's just as it's like trampy woman. Are there trampy gays that do it? Like, are there, like the real effeminate, like is that a thing? Like,
is there a gay equivalent to a tramp stamp? It is probably just a tramp stamp.
Is it a tramp
probably
stamp?
Probably a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
But it might be done with like a kind of layer of irony. A knowing layer of irony that
can you get an ironic tattoo?
I mean, no, like I've got one. I've got a passport stamp that says "Naughty Boys."
Well, that's ironic. That was just you being naughty boys.
I was being a naughty boy, wasn't I? Like, getting a drunken tattoo. You know that like latent bigotry that people have when they get older and they just start like being bigots,
like the Jews do.
Do you think it's like? Do you think it's like when you've been working at a place and then like you've put your notice in and it gets towards your last week and then your last day and then your last couple hours of work and you just stop giving a fuck? You're like, what are they going to do? Fire us? Do you think like when you get closer to death you're just like, oh, actually, you know what, like I'm...
Yeah, I think it's a bit of that, and I also think the older you get, the dumber you are to new technology that can convince you of false states of the world. So, like the reason boomers think cancel culture is this fucking epidemic going across the world is because one person will get and we all know what cancelling actually fucking means. One person will get blowback from saying something online and the article will just be like, this person got cancelled, and the cancellation is just the constant fucking discussion of the thing. 3 people didn't like the tweet, 9 people didn't like the tweet, 100 people online complained about the tweet. All this furor only exists actually online most of the time.
Yeah.
Right, but the old people just see this fucking art and they're like, you can't say anything. You know, you hear about that guy out in Wisconsin 6 months ago said tranny, just said it in passing, and now he's dead. And you're like, man, that's one story that you're also being, you know, triggered by here. I think there comes a point where you've read so much of that in the media that you're like, oh, well,
just repeating what you've heard.
Yeah, well, yeah, and also you're like, well, if you can't say anything anymore, like, I'm going to fight the good fight. And opinions that you might not have had publicly before because you were like, this is a bit iffy. You're like, well, now I just don't care anymore. I'll just have them out loud like it's a rebellion thing.
I think, like, there's that breed of people always look back as like it's a different time back then. I want to go back to that time, as if like progress hasn't happened and we haven't made progress. But I always like, especially on social media, they'll post pictures of like toys from their childhood and going, "Oh, remember these when time was better," and that. You're like, you deny you can still get them things. You can still buy them toys. They're way cheaper now because nobody wants them because there's better stuff. Like you can still live in the past if you want. Like if you want, it's called being a hipster. Actually, are you just a hipster?
We don't like those. Those get bullied a lot. Is that what you're after? Do you want bullied more, you old cunt? Like, I can feel myself not necessarily getting less liberal, but just like I've previously in my life, I've always been very, very conscious and conscientious of what I'm saying and like why I'm saying it. Like, I've always said, like, I think you can joke about anything on stage, but part of joking about anything on stage is I will always ask, why are you joking about that? Like, what's the point? Like, are you just doing that because it's wrong and that's why it's fine? And I would sort of turn my nose up a little bit at that, and then I think recently just taking a bit more time off from fucking stand-up. And also, as much as I hate that, I'm going to admit it, I fucking hate that I'm admitting this. The new Louis C.K. special was good.
I would admit that out loud, I would. I would take that out loud, Daniel. I would take that on the podcast, Should we unpack this? Should we unpack this? Because
he's a bad man.
I don't like what he did.
No, I don't like what he did. I liked his stand-up before because I thought there was like a level of, you know, self-awareness and irony to what he did. I thought he was, you know, I thought it was a good stand-up. I liked his stuff. I thought it was silly. I thought it was fun.
But then I didn't like his stand-up anymore after what he did. I was looking back at his stuff and going, well, that coming from the man who he is isn't as funny as that coming from the man I thought he was.
Aye. So and then he did his other special where he didn't really acknowledge it, and he did, but not in like the right way, and it just sort of felt like, oh man, have you learned anything?
And as we discussed last week, like some stuff was released from his open mic stuff, and you're just like, oh man's just fucking grasping at the semblance of a career. And then because we had a fucking 12 and a half hour drive, essentially, well, more than, because we had stops for charging. You just like slipped it into conversation that somebody had put you on to listen to the Louis C.K. special.
Yeah.
And I was like, why we're listening to that? Or is this research, or we're researching here? Is that what we're doing? What's the... And then you put it on. You were just like, let's just listen to it.
I'd already watched it once. Because I was told by someone, and I was like, they were like, man, if you liked his old stuff, which I did, they're like, it's that again, and it's as good as that. And I'm like, man, I'm curious because, you know, I watched the last special, it sucked, and I was like, oh good, and that's just reaffirmed in my head everything I wanted to feel about the world, and that's like justification in its own way. Like he's a bad man, and now he's bad at stand up, and justice.
That would have been the. But life's complex. Life sometimes throws one of the best specials that's ever been made in your face.
I don't know if
from someone that you've written off. It was 1,000, and I know this isn't much of a barometer because people have already made their judgment on it, but it's hard to say. It's 1,000 times better than Chappelle's special.
Oh, infinitely
better.
Yeah. First of all, if you enjoyed Chappelle's special, well, first of all, you know he's not listening, right? You know you don't have to have that opinion public. He doesn't know. He's not listening to your opinions on his special. You just admit it was shit, and he's not listening to your podcast. You didn't enjoy his. You did deep down. You didn't think Dave Chappelle's last special was that good because it wasn't, was it? It just wasn't. It didn't really say anything.
I had a strange reaction to it because the first time I watched it, and we've talked about this, the first time I watched it, I was high, and I'd heard that it was super offensive, and then I didn't find any of it that offensive. I just thought it was like, meh. It was like, you know what, whatever. And then I watched it again, and I was like, actually, this is bad stand-up mechanically. Yeah, it's bad stand-up. Louis C.K.'s special, it's
just bits. It's just really good, silly, dark bits.
It's silly. It has like shades of Pete Holmes to it.
Aye.
The elephant getting the MRI scan bit, like fucking just funny bits, and I'm just like, oh no. It's a guy that like tossed himself off to vulnerable women that were trying to leave his hotel room.
Aye. And he's still making jerk-off jokes as well. You're like, oh.
And like, then women would probably listen to it and go, aye, that's kind of funny, but can we just not listen to it? Can we just not listen to it, boss?
Aye. I'll tell you what I should have done. I should have illegally downloaded it.
You give him a $5.
I did.
Did you give him? You tipped him.
I think now I think for my conscience, I have to go and donate to like a woman's charity.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
I just got to go purge me soul. Maybe that's the good way of doing it, right? Look, if you want to go, if you're able to separate it, which I was, I like stand up. And I enjoyed stand up from a person that I wouldn't want to spend any time with, and it doesn't make me feel great. But I've listened to it twice now, and it was good. Mm-hmm. I tell you who's special. Who I'm genuinely fucking excited for. And I never thought these words would come out of my mouth like 5 years ago. I cannot wait for Adam Sandler's new special.
Is he doing another one? I didn't even know he was, but fuck me, I was blindsided by his last one.
Oh, it's just so good. It's just so really, really, really good.
He made me feel bad for finding him cringeworthy previously.
Aye.
I was like, he's doing him. That's what he is.
He's just doing his thing.
That's who he is. That's what he does. He's never tried to package himself as anything else.
Yeah.
It was just cool to not like him anymore, even though...
No, I think...
It was cool to avoid his films.
No, just... Adam Sandler did stinkers. Like, he's got a lot of stinkers.
How much did you just love him as a kid when you were growing up, as a teen?
Aye. Like, I always did. It was, there was a cool...
Big Daddy and Happy Gilmore and Waterboy and all that, and then all of a sudden you're just like... It
was cool to shit on him.
Like, when you start finding your parents uncool...
Aye.
And you get through that, and then you come out the other end, and you go, "Oh, I was a bit of a bastard to my mum and dad back then." Now that I'm in my 20s and I'm growing up again,
your parents are just
I did that with Adam Sandler. I don't think I grew up loving him, thought he was uncool and untrendy, and then loved him again.
I don't think I ever not liked him, but it was just he was always a guilty pleasure, and it wasn't. I didn't find it a guilty pleasure, but it was just cool to not like his movies or to make fun of his movie. And man, he did do some fucking... Jack and Jill was piping hot shite.
I've avoided all
Zohan wasn't good.
I don't think I've seen Zohan. Was he Zohan? Was that not...
no, it was definitely...
Was that not Chuck Norris?
No. No.
That wasn't Chuck Norris.
Is this a bit?
It is a bit.
Thank fucking God.
I was looking for the name Rob Schneider.
No, Rob Schneider was just
Bigelow, yeah.
Have you seen Rob Schneider's stand-up special?
No, and won't.
Oh, it's worth it for the wrong reasons, right? He was given a Netflix special. The cunt manages to fill 37 minutes. That's how long it is, right? And in fact, I think to even...
How long does it feel?
About an hour. It feels an hour. That man fucking hates women. Oh, he hates his wife. He hates his daughters. He hates his mother-in-law. He fucking hates women. And he smiles while he's doing the bits. He fucking hates
Here's
them.
the thing. How bad did mother-in-laws used to be?
I know. Aye.
Because when you see old comedy, it's hinged on mother-in-law stuff. I love my mother-in-law.
Oh, I love your mother-in-law. She's class.
She's class. And even like previous relationships where I wasn't married, so they technically were mother-in-laws, they were really nice to us and decent.
Aye, all of my exes, except for one of my exes in high school, whose mum was a fucking cunt.
Is it they were such dicks, the mother-in-laws smelt it and hated the fact that they were with their daughter and give them the bad view of a mother-in-law?
I think
were mother-in-laws nightmares back then?
No, I think that was that was when it was the boomer fucking generation. So it was like just everyone was boring. Like they'd just come out of World War II. Like this is for the fucking Reagan years in America. It's all very like fucking, centre right. Fuck the communists, and we're going to be nice middle class people, and you're nice and you're polite, and drugs are bad things, and alcohol's another way, and we're good Christians, and it was sort of like that era. So it was just they were, I think like it's the comedians that were making these jokes were also like fucking comedians in a world where everyone was like, I want my daughter to marry a lawyer or a doctor and not a thing. And also I think
you know what else gets really bad press? Stepmothers. Stepmothers.
Have you watched porn? Fuck fucking.
This is the rebrand.
Stepmother seem cool as fuck. Stepmother, like you will.
It's a rebrand.
No,
they're rebranding. They're on a PR offensive. Disney did a number on them. They're trying to rebrand.
Stepmom's a fucking sound man. I've never.
We're from different generations.
Where are stepmothers evil?
Wicked Stepmother's always the Disney villain.
Oh, aye.
Always the Disney villain.
In
Sleeping Beauty, in Cinderella, in the other one, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Aye. I just cut. Yeah, guys had that. God, I wonder. I mean, I don't want to imagine it is true. Imagine there's actual real fucking stepmoms out there that are just like, I've just got to get through this first. Like, it's an immediate. You start like 3 points behind. You don't start at 0.
I've overheard a conversation between stepmothers out of our friendship group, who I won't name, who are just saying like, even the from the other side, it's a bit of a fucking nightmare. Like the mother will go, well, I don't, she's done nothing to upset me or something like that, and you're like. Well, like I've helped raise your child, and you're like I've done nothing to upset you. I've done nothing to harm you. I've actually done things to help you.
Aye.
Like it's not like I haven't been an inconvenience. I have been a help. Like why am I looked at as this like, well, she's not getting in my way kind of attitude, and that apparently like that attitude comes from the other side quite a bit.
We have friends that are stepmothers.
You do.
Like
I'm not going to name them when I'm talking this fucking candidly. That's so funny that you are so self-obsessed. You can't see what some of our friends are doing with their entire lives.
Entire lives?
Yeah, like, you know, it's a massive part of their life is raising other people's children.
No, not her.
Yeah, I can run with our children sometimes. It's hilarious.
I think I've got one. I think I've got. Is it?
Yeah, I think we might have to cut this bit.
Why?
No, but yes. Yeah, you got one.
That's the only one.
That's not the conversation I heard. We have multiple, Daniel. There's millions.
Do I know any stepdads?
Not a one there. No, I don't know. Do we know any stepdads? Rouge, I guess.
Aye. Yeah. No? Oh, yeah. Is he now?
Well. No, he was interim.
Still waiting for the belt.
He's interim stepdad, aye.
I reckon I'd be... I reckon I'd be an alright stepfather. I mean, hopefully I'll never have to be.
I'd be a class stepdad. Like I'd like, unless your dad's belt out, which he isn't because it didn't work out. I'm gonna bring way more to the table than your real dad, apart from like, you know.
See, I go the opposite. I'm gonna be like, I'll make sure that you keep your relationship with your dad, but I'll also be there. Like I'll be real Will Ferrell.
You wouldn't overstep the line and all that. You wouldn't be competing for the affection.
No.
You couldn't. That's a struggle. That like the reason I brought it up. That stepdad, stepmom, there's a struggle that doesn't get as much credit because it's a fine line you've got to walk between like overbearing, overstepping the line, living up to other people's expectations, living up to other people's standards. Aye.
Right. Sorry. Sorry, I finally worked out who it was now. It's one of my very close friends.
And he only got one of them.
Is there no? I got 2. There can't be more than that.
There is, Daniel. We're old now.
Well, you are. Is Matty a stepmom? Is it Matty?
It's Matty.
I did think it would be Matty.
How would you feel about a stepdad in your life with your child, like down the line? Like, well, hold on, let's set up the hypothetical.
Yeah, because not good because why me and Cara broken up.
Let's set up the hypothetical a bit better, right? Yes, broke up mutually, right? But because you were doing each other's tits in, right? It's like everything that you've got now, the harmony you've got now, got disrupted by the introduction of a child, right? It just fucking, you went like a year and a half to 2 years stubbornly trying to make it work before one of you suggested break it up, and the other one went, oh, fucking thank God, I've been thinking about this for ages, right? Your relationship deteriorates, is what happens,
and it's better to just amputate it for the sake of everyone.
You both love this child, but you're going to make this child's life a fucking nightmare if you stay together, because the toxicity's starting to bleed into family life, right? You've made a decision. I'm sorry to put you through this hell when you're actually setting up for one of the most wonderful times of your life, right? But take a picture of this because it's changing, motherfucker, right? And then you meet someone.
Aye.
So you're already...
She fit.
That's all she's got.
Like, she's got a horrible personality, but Cara doesn't get to see her personality, so that doesn't matter. I'm just going to publicly have a hot one and be like, who needs you?
Yep, you're going to finally have chest hair, you're going to wear your shirt open, and you're going to have a medallion and a hot wife.
Fuck yes. Right. Do I by any chance own like some sort of villa in Spain?
Yes.
Great.
Thailand.
Great. Superb, I'm in. Already. Am I Gary Lineker's brother?
You are Wayne Lineker. You are Wayne Lineker.
He's one of the ones where if I were to find out he died of some sort of overdose, I'd go,
oh, poor Gary, I hope he's okay.
I'm sad for the family, but also, bye. So how would I feel about a stepdad coming into the picture?
So the stepdad comes into the picture and he's a bit of a suit. She's took a change of direction from...
Oh, great. Then I'm the cool dad. Easy. Done. In.
And he does like a lot of the school runs, and he's like, he's there at the sports, not with you, not even with Cara. Sometimes he's just there watching your kid play baseball. Your kid plays baseball.
Wait, he's there not with me or Cara. He's just
there like to
this guy a fucking nonce
to watch him.
He's like a beast.
He's just interested in his sport. He wants to support him, and also he's going to give him a lift back home to his family home where he lives with him. Is
it this house?
What?
Is it this house?
Yeah, you live in my spare room.
And Natalie's like, you can afford another I know Natalie, but it's just otherwise me and Kai can't go out and be single together. He's not single. He's not.
He's a good wingman. Well, he always gets the girl's attention, and then they never want to fuck him at the end. So he, even though he's trying, he never cheats on me.
But it is not through lack of trying. Like, he really does give it a go. But I think in a real shitty way, and this is just my argument, man, I'll still be the cool dad. Like, as long as, man, like, I'm still cool. I'm still a touring comic.
The hypothetical situation where he's practical is totally fine with you. That fits in. But the minute he's like a bit of a boozer.
No, nothing to boozer. No, I don't want my kid to think I'm a boozer. That's not the typical.
I'm saying the stepdad. If I built the situation where the guy wasn't a like practical 9 to 5, fucking always there for the boy. Like if he wasn't like a practical plugs in nice into the kid's life. If he was just more of like a bit of eye candy for Cara, little like he's a Geordie, and not like me. Like he's a Geordie Shaw.
Oh, one of them. If she was going to have one of them, then I would find it hysterical, and I would just have to correct my son's English every time he came home. But
your son grows up speaking like me. That would be the most crushing bit of the whole thing.
I think like I used to have man, I loved more than anything in the world either meeting my girlfriend's exes or meeting an ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend, because I am a fucking nightmare ex-boyfriend or like new boyfriend, just for other men's egos.
Because you're sound up, because you have a profile.
All of it. And I've got a big dick, I'm successful, and I'm sound. And like if they don't know who if they don't know who I was or whatever, they'll only know through them saying it, or it'll be brought up, and then people go, "Oh, Daniel Sloss," and in their own heads, they'll start on a lower fucking pedestal. Every time I've met an ex-boyfriend or whatever, they'll always try and get like the digs in. You're like, buddy, what are we doing? Like, come on, let's be real here.
Did I tell you the time at a wedding when I met Natalie's ex?
And he was dead sound.
He was actually. What it was is there was a older man there that was like a pervy older man, and he come to congratulate us about Natalie because he'd been perving on Natalie, and he was just like, "Fucking, what do you narrate there? So how do you manage that?
Aye.
Must have a nice car day." And I'm like, "I've got a bit of an Astra."
So yes,
it's a bit Tony model, 2 litre. I really like it. It's a coupe. It's a coupe. Spare wheel in the boot. Imagine that. Yeah, brag.
Something that comes as standard with most cars. Like, in fact, the only time there's not a spare wheel in the back is when the spare wheel's on the car itself.
It's a space saver, mate, but you know, more space for me. So anyway, I was bragging about the fucking space saver spare wheel we put to this old dirty old man. Right. The fucking party moves on, right? And I end up at the bar at the same time as, I think he's called David, right? So I'm at the bar at the same time as him, and he says hello to us, and I know who he is, and he knows who I am, right? And we're about to have small talk.
Aye. Or fisticuffs.
We get saved from the small talk, right, by this old man coming along and went, "Dave, have you seen his lass? Just fucking stunning." To our ex. And our ex just went, "Who the fuck's this old cunt?" And he knew him. Like, we didn't know who the fuck's this old cunt. And then like turned his back on him and got drinks and just carried on talking.
Aye, good egg.
I like that. Funny, very funny. And it turns out the old cunt was the dad of the first person Natalie had ever slept with.
Oh,
right? So she had quite a finger on it that wedding.
So he definitely should have recognised her.
What, from getting sneaked into his house?
Aye, I didn't know she got snuck into a house like some common whore.
I don't know how it panned out. Didn't ask. Couldn't cope.
I'd love to meet. Cara told me so much about her ex. And she's mortified by him, so much so that I'd love to meet him just because she'd be mortified. I'd be civil, I'd be nice, I'd shake his hand, I'd look him dead in the eyes. Aye, class.
Do you think you'd have like a proper one-upsmanship on him?
No. I've won it, and this is the problem with all the other ones. I've won it walking in. They're the ones that are like, the game's still good on. I'm like, game's over. Game's over, though.
The ones that would get the one up on you, right, is the ones that just admit defeat, accept lower status, and rub that in your face. I shagged your ass.
Aye. Fair, fine, man, as long as she got the practice in. Thank you very much. She's class at it now.
There's nothing worse than men that hold previous conquests against their partner.
Oh, it's fucking despicable.
That is a form of abuse. That is fucking
100%. 100%. Like if not just men to women, but I would say it's more common between men and women. But like if it's like, "Oh, do you fucking slept with him? I can't believe like we're now at this." Now that I'm at a party with a guy you fucked, I can't emotionally handle this, so I'm going to take it out on you because I'm a fucking petulant child. Slut, grow up, go to therapy.
Slut shaming your own slut is horrendous. That's your slut.
Yeah, Jesus, come on, have some respect for your own sluts. Honestly, yeah, I totally agree, and it's one of the. I will say this. I mean, I've not done it because of my friends are sound, but it's a bit of behaviour I would have no problem fully calling out with my mates.
I've done it. I've corrected that behaviour with my mates.
If my mate was like, "Oh, she was fucking," you know how many women how many blokes she slept with before me? I'm like, "You fucking, I'll slap you myself." Mm-hmm. If she's not slapped you for this comment already, fucking let me lick my palm, and you're getting it right across the
look me dead in the eyes. He didn't leave this conversation and carry on back to that behind my back.
Aye, this is
we're taking this out at the core.
Aye, this is slap surgery. I'm slapping that fucking personality right out of your body right now. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, our friendship is fucking over, and also social relationship, because I'm gonna bang her.
You should be mad at who she's going to fuck in the future. So.
I'm gonna bang her. I'm gonna be like, you slept with my best friend, you fucking slut. That guy I just slapped, you fucking slept with him. You fucking and now you're telling me. After I've just fucking stood up for you in front of him.
You're just going through our friendship group, are you?
Aye.
Anyway, not that.
Not on. Aye, just fucking. Look, just be grateful somebody taught your ex how to shag. Do you like shagging your current partner?
I love it when I get back from tour and she's got new tricks. I'm not even mad about that part of my past. that 6-week period.
All right, look, if you enjoy shagging your missus or your man, right, you should be fucking shaking the hands of everyone that fucked them in the past.
Every ex, our uncle, just in case.
Thank you so much for your hard work. She is fucking class on top. Was that you? Did you teach her the old twist and pull? That's me. Well, Kara's gone up to all my exes. What the fuck did you tell him? You told him you like that. You told him after you got to live with that for the rest of my fucking life. I think because you liked it. You were too polite to say that's sore. I hate that gross. And now he's going to do it to me for the rest of my I hate you.
You didn't correct him when he did that to your clit. With his teeth. He used teeth on your clit and you didn't stop him.
Fucking, he sucked your pussy like a rude boy and you let that happen.
Aye.
No.
I'm tired.
Aye. That was a very firm end there. I thought we were having a good game of tennis, but you just
it tired us out, Daddy. That was like, you know, in Forrest Gump when they just have like a fucking, he runs forever, and then at the end he just was like.
We did a 35-second bit, and during the 35-second bit, you stopped, turned around to me.
I'm going home now.
We are. The home's there. We didn't get far. Like you.
You can still see the house for us.
Yeah, we can throw a stone at it.
You can still break the window from here.
Oh, look, let's end the podcast pretty soon because I want to find out who the other stepmoms I know are. Really? How many are there? Right, I've got 2. How many are there?
Well, in our entire friendship group.
Aye.
Right, I'm aware of 3 because you didn't get one of them.
Right, okay. This one, fucking, look at that. Is it Sheen? No. Anyway, to everyone who came to the Cambridge show.
Look, to everybody listening, just acknowledge the stepmothers in your life. Acknowledge their existence.
Aye.
You've clearly...
Happy Stepmother's Day.
You clearly have a blind spot to what they're doing.
Aye. In fact, we shouldn't have a Stepmother's Day. We should just... be nice to stepmothers on Mother's Day. Don't make it specific. There should definitely not be a Stepmother's Day. That's separating them way more. Here's Stepmother's Day, and then this is real Mother's Day. Don't do that. That's vindictive. To everyone that came to the show in Cambridge, thank you very much for your patience of just a show that was rescheduled multiple times and still fucking packing out that room. It was class. It was good fun. Aberdeen, we'll see you Friday, you fucking cunts.
That was very nice.
Well, you've been to Aberdeen.
Oh, right, Aberdeen. Right, sorry, I was daydreaming when you said Aberdeen.
Aye, Aberdeen.
Absolute cunts. Good cunts. The best cunts.
Good audience.
Okay cunts.
Aye. Wouldn't drink with them after. I've done, and that's
decent cunts. I've enjoyed drinking with them after.
I've shagged a bunch of Aberdeen people.
Like disproportionate amount compared to, like, you know, we're single spells on tour.
Aye.
Like
Aberdeen was always
that was the biggest slice of the pie.
Aye.
That and Dublin.
Oh, aye.
But Aberdeen.
Aye, Aberdeen and Dublin, thank you very much for keeping us warm all those years.
Aye, you got us through some winters. You really did.
Aye. I liked wintering inside of it. No, never mind.
I had a threesome interrupted in Aberdeen once. I thought it was you.
You did, aye.
I fucking blamed you.
You did. As if I would be as horrible enough.
Can you remember what you said when we checked in that day? When they went, we've got your rooms next to each other as you passed the keys.
Oh, yeah.
Can you remember what you said to me as you slid the keys across the desk?
She went, your rooms are next to each other. I went, oh no, he's going to keep me up all night with the sounds of not shagging.
Exactly what you said. Exactly what you said. And then there's two girls down to their knickers in my bed.
Aye.
Right? And then there's a bang at the door. And it's the hotel staff saying that there's been a complaint from a neighbouring room.
I don't remember this. It wasn't me. It wasn't fucking me. It wasn't me. You know it wasn't me.
And when I turned around, Daniel, they were fully dressed, including jackets and bags.
Aye.
And then they left. And then I left, and I went and got cigarettes, and I chain smoked 20 of them. And then I got back, and one of them had come back and was knocking on my door, right? So it wasn't. There's a reason I didn't murder you in the morning, but even now I'm still angry. Even now I'm still angry.
I didn't do it, but that's very. Also, what kind of fucking nerd? Excuse me, the man next to me's got 2 women. Get a fucking dweeb. I had once, but I was
trying to read.
I had once when I was with a girl in Norway and we were banging, and the next door, like, I hate noisy sex. Right? I think it's just.
What the fuck is this?
I think it's intrinsically fucking rude. I just think it's horrific. And she was making a bit, but we weren't making that much noise. And just some guy kept banging it. And I want to be like, man, every time you bang the door, we have to stop, giggle about it, and then go, just let me come. Like, this will be over soon. You're prolonging this. Shut the fuck. Also, we're in a hotel. Shh. Come on, let it. I promise you,
it's usually like a weekend evening as well, and you're in a city centre hotel on a weekend evening. You know what you paid for.
I've been in hotels when I've listened to other people bang it, and you just kind of laugh and you go, "All right, well, there's that." Hey, look, if it's gratuitous and it's over 15 minutes, I'll give you 15 minutes.
Yeah, I always remember that quote out at the beach. There's nothing more lonely than the sound of other people having sex. So at least have the decency to shout, "I'm lonely" after you knock.
Aye.
I'm lonely here, by the way. Have some respect. Because if that person was also shagging, they're not banging on the wall.
Yeah. They're not like, you're making me sound bad. She's not making any of these noises. Why can't you be more like my person and not enjoying a second of it? You should see her. Stoic, barely a fucking peep out of her. You wouldn't even know I was inside of her. You wouldn't.
I want a baby.
Oh, anyway, so we'll be coming up to Aberdeen. So if anyone wants to shag us for old time's sake,
just for nostalgia, it's like the old days back then.
Bye.
Yep. Before we go, you're doing Thursdays with Ryan.
Yeah, sure.
And then we're doing Mondays together. And then you're taking paternity.
And then I'm taking paternity leave.
Podcast paternity leave, and I'll take it from there and get some belter guests on. Bye.